Come to order, please. Good morning. Welcome to the Commissioners of St. Mary's County meeting this date, Tuesday, May 20th, 2025. I'm Mike Alderson, Vice President, Commissioners of St. Mary's County. I represent the 3rd Commissioner District, which includes Charlotte Hall, 7th District, Golden Beach, and Mechanicsville. Commissioner President Guy is unable to join us today. I'd like to introduce the other commissioners sitting to my right, representing the 1st Commissioner District, which includes Ridge, Piney Point, and St. George's Island, Eric Colvin.
Good morning.
Representing the 2nd Commissioner District, which includes Leonardtown and Hollywood, Mr. Mike Hewitt.
Good morning.
Sitting to my left, representing the 3rd Commissioner, which is not me, I'm here, Scott Ostro, who represents the 4th Commissioner District, which includes Lexington Park, some of California, Great Mills, and some of Hollywood, will be joining via Teams. David Yingling, our Deputy County Administrator, is seated at the end of the dais.
Good morning.
On my immediate right is Julie Birch, our recorder for today. Sitting at the table to my right is our Communications Director, Ms. Jenna Guzman. Our video media production team is behind the glass. Please turn your cell phones off or on vibrate. When you come to the presenters table, please approach by coming down the center aisle, and remember this meeting is being televised, so you need to speak clearly and directly into the microphone for recording purposes. All right. Where we need to be. All right. Invocation and pledge, please, Commissioner Hewitt.
Okay. Dear Lord, thank you for bringing us here together today. Please guide our decisions as we review and approve the final budget. Grant us wisdom, fairness, and compassion as we serve our community. Bless our efforts and help us to work together for the good of all. We ask this in your name. Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Need a motion on the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda, which includes the minutes of May 13, 2025, and surplus properties quitclaim deeds.
Second.
All right, first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we pass.
We have a second motion. I move to approve the surplus properties quitclaim deeds.
Second.
We have first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, hearing none, it passes. All right, we have a couple proclamations to take care of today. We're going to change the order up just a little bit, and we're going to do National EMS Week first.
You're not backside.
I'm gonna have everybody shift this way. Actually,
All right. Well, thank you all for being here for this important proclamation for National Emergency Medical Services Week 2025. It reads, whereas the National Emergency Medical Services EMS Week honors thousands of trained and certified volunteers and career first responders, and whereas 2025 marks the 51st anniversary of National Emergency Medical Services Week, the theme of We Care for Everyone reminds us of the essential need of EMS practitioners in every single community. And whereas no matter what day of the year, all hours, day and night, citizens rely on EMS providers, both career and volunteer, for critical care wherever the need exists. And whereas the key to a successful EMS system is the impressive combination of courage, expertise, dedication, confidence, consistency, and compassion, which distinguishes the performance of its personnel, the aid they administer often requires split-second decisions essential to preventing disability or death, And whereas the efforts of these brave and competent individuals in saving human lives and minimizing the disabling effects of injuries merit recognition and appreciation from their community, now therefore we, the Commissioners of St. Mary's County, do hereby proclaim the week of May 18th through 24th, 2025 as Emergency Medical Services Week and urge all citizens to thank local EMS providers for their dedicated service and compassionate care. Signed this date, May 20th, 2025, all the Commissioners of St. Mary's County. Thank you all.
Thank you, Commissioners, and thank you all. Each year we recognize EMS Week, but it's really an opportunity to really showcase the work that each of these professionals do. And I say professionals because it is a profession. It doesn't matter if they're career getting paid or volunteers. The work they do in our communities is just profound. And I had the distinct honor of hearing firsthand each and every day of the success stories, the impact they're making on the communities. And here in St. Mary's County, we have some significant high acuity calls, sick people, traumatic injuries, and the work they do between career, volunteer, our partnership with the Maryland State Police Aviation Command, our partners in the St. Mary's County Sheriff's Office, all the work we do together collectively makes this system work, and the impact on our community is profound because of these people. And that we care for everyone also extends to our providers. They must take time to look out for themselves, take time to take breaks and recharge their own batteries. You can't care for other people without caring for yourself. So we appreciate the extension of the proclamation and you honoring the work they do. And we encourage everyone to embrace our EMS providers and clinicians. They do excellent work here, and we're so proud of them. So thank each and every one of you for coming out and for the work you do for our citizens. Chief, do you want to say a few words? No. Huh?
Let's get everyone.
Okay, very good. Just introduce yourself and pass it around.
EMS Captain Paul Nicholson.
Stephanie Bates, EMT.
Michelle Mosier.
Lieutenant James Cawley.
Deputy Director Gerald Gardner.
Angela Tennyson, Chief of Leonardtown Rescue Squad.
Lieutenant Heather Forrest. Lori Marsh, Deputy Chief, Lexington Park Volunteer Rescue Squad.
Kim Collins, Assistant Chief, Valley Lee, 2nd District.
Kirsten Shea, Deputy Director.
Try to skip it. I'm Amy Bledsoe, Acting Chief for Emergency Services.
Very good. Thank you.
Mental health. Lord knows it's been a topic in the local community lately, and we all know we need it. We need as many services as we can get. We just need to find the right place to put it. So whereas May has been recognized nationally as Mental Health Awareness Month since 1949 and has provided the opportunity to raise awareness, combat stigma, and promote mental health resources. And whereas mental health is an essential part of our overall well-being, with its effect impacting individuals, families, and communities across St. Mary's County. And whereas even though 1 in 5 American adults experiences a mental health condition each year, many remain silent about their condition, afraid of the negative stigma attached to mental health. And whereas early intervention and access to quality care are crucial for managing mental health conditions and improving quality of life. Now therefore, we, the Commissioners of St. Mary's County, do hereby proclaim May 2025 as Mental Health Awareness Month in St. Mary's County. We encourage all residents to challenge stigma, speak inclusively about mental health, and to seek help if they are struggling. This date, May 20th, 2025. Ms. Lowy?
On behalf of St. Mary's County Health Department, our schools, our outpatient mental health providers, clinics, and therapists within our community, we're very thankful for all of them and all of the work that they do. Mental health is essential for overall well-being at every single stage of life, regardless of age, background, or experience. Prioritizing mental health strengthens individuals, families, and communities. This year's themes are supporting the mental health needs of older adults, early mental health support, resilience, and self-care for children and teens, focus on raising awareness, reducing stigma, and promoting recovery for people living with serious mental illness or serious emotional disturbances and their families. How deeply connected mental and physical health are, and the role of community, support networks, and recovery in promoting well-being. Thank you, Commissioners, for recognizing Mental Health Awareness Month. We very much appreciate all of the proclamations that you do to support all of our initiatives. Thank you. I'm Tammy Lowy with the Health Department, Behavioral Health Director.
I'm Jamie Barnes. I'm with the Health Department, Assistant Director of Behavioral Health. Taylor Nickerson, Opioid Prevention Supervisor, also with St. Mary's County Health Department.
Hi, I'm Robin Schrader. I'm the Supervisor of Mental Health for St. Mary's County Public Schools.
I am Ashley Alhambra, Assistant Director of the Vocational Program for Pathways.
Liz Ampieri, Assistant Director for Community Services at Pathways.
They know who you are.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is National Drug Court Month. Let's see. See, Judge Stanalonis has a squad up here coming up with him. All right. Whereas drug courts provide the focus and leadership for community-wide anti-drug systems, bringing together criminal justice, treatment, education, and other community partners in the fight against drug abuse and criminality. And whereas drug court programs are the original form of drug policy reform and combine intensive judicial supervision, mandatory substance abuse treatment, and drug testing with sanctions and incentives in order to break the cycle of drug abuse and drug-related crimes. And whereas the judges, prosecutors, defense attorneys, treatment and supervision professionals, law enforcement personnel, researchers, educators, and community leaders are dedicated to making a profound impact through hard work and commitment to their communities. And whereas St. Mary's County is proud to recognize those who make drug courts work and the significant contributions that drug courts have made and continue to make in reducing drug usage and criminal behavior. Now, therefore, we, the Commissioners of St. Mary's County, do hereby proclaim the month of May 25 National Drug Court Month in St. Mary's County to increase public awareness of the effectiveness of our drug court system. This date, May 20th, 2025.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Judge Stanalonis from the St. Mary's Circuit Court. I'm the judge that presides over our recovery court program here in St. Mary's. First, I want to thank the commissioners for the proclamation. I want to thank the commissioners also for the financial support that they provide for our program. Our program receives support from the state of Maryland as well as from the commissioners and also from all of our partners. This is a team approach. We have the state's attorney and prosecutors on our team. We have the sheriff's department, the sheriff and his corrections people on our team. Project Chesapeake is our provider for both mental health and substance abuse. We have the Public Defender's Office who supports our program as well, and Ms. Cynthia Panos is the attorney. She's traveling this week, but she's the attorney who sits on our team. Here today with us is, starting on my left, Bill Raditz, who's our case manager. He goes out and works in the community directly with our participants. We have one of our graduates, David Pasquale, who graduated back in the late fall of 2024 from our program. On my right here is Linda Spate. She's our program coordinator. Chris Yardier from the Corrections Department and Captain Payne, also from Corrections, are here. And then Rachel Francis is our treatment provider who wasn't able to be with us today. Lisa Ridge is our prosecutor who wasn't able to be here with us today. And Agent Bradford from Parole and Probation is also on our team and wasn't able to be here today. Our program typically has approximately 30 people at a time. We've graduated this past week. We graduated 5 people over the course of the year. Probably 10 to 12 people have graduated out of our program, and we keep a steady flow of 30 plus in the program almost at all times, with a little bit of a wait list for people who are waiting to get into the program. The program is for nonviolent offenders, people who maybe have all of them have serious either substance and or mental health issues that need to be addressed and have come into the criminal justice system for one reason or another. Many of them have been in and out of the system over and over again, and the purpose of the program is to try and stop that cycle of continuing through the program. St. Mary's, I think, is very fortunate because we have all of the people on our team and all of the agencies who support the program. I hear around the state, not every team is fortunate enough to have everybody at the table. So we have that benefit, and our program is typically in about a 70 to 75% graduation rate, which is above the national standard and also above Maryland's standard. And there are problem-solving courts all around the state of Maryland. So this is the one that we have in St. Mary's. So again, I just want to thank the commissioners very much for all of your support. The program doesn't work without your support, so thank you.
Okay, next up is National Transportation Week. You want to read this? You want me to read it? You got it. Yeah. All right. We'll make sure I get it in the. There you go, Mr. Acting Director. We good? All right, since we're shorthanded, I get to do a double header here. This proclamation is for National Transportation Week 2025, and I have representatives here from Public Works and Transportation. Whereas transportation infrastructure laid the foundation for our nation in many ways, with ships and railroads enabling earlier years of economic growth, improving access and travel, and enhancing our national security. And whereas in 1962, Congress proclaimed the third week in May as National Transportation Week to celebrate the community of transportation professionals who keep our country moving. And whereas the week of May 11th through 17th, 2025 marks the 73rd annual National Transportation Week. and provides an opportunity to raise awareness about public transportation and its benefits by encouraging citizens to use public transit. And whereas throughout the week of May 25 through 31, all St. Mary's Transit passengers will ride all day for free to encourage transit ridership. And now, therefore, we, the Commissioners of St. Mary's County, do hereby proclaim the week of May 11th through 17th, 2025, National Transportation Week in St. Mary's County, and encourage all citizens to use public transportation and recognize its important role in our lives and economy. This date, May 20th, 2025.
Thank you, Commissioners. So as you know, I'm still learning about the transportation side of the department. So really, all the recognition really goes to all the employees in the transportation side of DPW.
Will Miller, Supervisor, Non-Public School Bus Transportation.
Ron Verbis, the newly appointed STS Supervisor.
All right, well, thank you very much. All right, next up we have National Public Works Week.
Any help coming up?
All right, if you're
You had the last one. You have this one. Yeah, and tell you what, I tell you. No. You're easy to see over top of.
That's all.
I'm gonna have you circle around to that side, and you guys just shift in here.
Okay. Look, these guys are really unsung heroes. When we have events like this past weekend, when we had that microburst out there in the county, look, these people get up and get out there. They're like SMETCO in a way. They're partners, and they get out there and get us the roads cleared and get things done, and Lord knows we probably don't give them the thanks that they deserve. Whereas National Public Works Week serves as an opportunity for citizens to acknowledge and honor the professionals who provide, maintain, and sustain our buildings, schools, roads, bridges, vehicles, equipment, water and sewer systems, utilities, and other essential infrastructure. And whereas National Public Works Week has been celebrated annually since 1960 by the American Public Works Association. The theme for 2025 is People, Purpose, Presence, which recognizes the vital role that public works and transportation professionals play in elevating modern society's quality of life. And whereas communities depend on effective public works and transportation services, and these professionals play a critical role in the planning, building, and maintenance of infrastructure projects to ensure what is built in the present will continue to be functional and vibrant in the future. Now, therefore, we, the Commissioners of St. Mary's County, do hereby proclaim May 18th through 24th, 2025, National Public Works Week in St. Mary's County, and call upon all citizens to acknowledge the quiet dedication and outstanding performance of these professionals. This day, May 20th, 2025.
Thanks, Commissioners. I started with the department about 8 years ago, a little over 8 years ago. And in being a new hire, I went around to all the desks of DPW, and we're dealing with learning about what each person does. And from the very first day, I said that there is so much that gets done in this office. And today, all this time later, I'm still amazed by what happens. So it's really these people, and we are truly blessed to have such a great group of hardworking folks in the department.
Hi, I'm John Wise. I'm Manager of Construction Inspections.
Brady Medinsky, the Manager of Building Services.
Dan Fogel, Deputy Director.
Willie Buckler, Manager, Construction and Inspection.
Drew Kelly, Project Manager for Capital Projects.
Richard Tarr, County Highways.
Ben Clark, Project Manager for Capital Projects.
Alan Settle, Project Manager for Roadway Projects.
Mike Nickerson, DPW's Building Maintenance Supervisor.
Thank you for everything you do.
Yeah. I think I need this now.
Right. Give them a second. Okay, next item on the agenda. Department of Finance, Commissioners of St. Mary's County set rates and approves FY 2026 operating and capital budgets. Vanetta Van Cleve, Chief Financial Officer, presenting.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Deputy Director Joy Sapp will be joining us as soon as she concludes the bond escrow close, which is being conducted as we speak.
Okay.
So, down in a minute. I'm going to go a little out of order compared to what you see in your packages, and I'm going to go in motion order. For those of you looking at the memo, there are two additional motions on the memo for Hollywood and Volunteer that do not need to be separately taken, as we've incorporated them in the revenue ordinance, just informationally.
Okay.
All right. Fees and charges is our first topic this morning, and if we turn to page 64, we have the complete list of fees and charges. Those that have been changed are bolded, excuse me. Some of the highlights, at the public hearing, April 22nd, we had one speaker. The Animal Control Division, as indicated, have a change in the commercial kennel license for 12 to 24 animals at $200, 25 or more at $400. Solid waste, we have the annual environmental and solid waste service fee increasing from $102.48 to $104.53. And then in recreation and parks, we have various and sundry maintenance, annual maintenance charge increases. We have special event fee charges, summer stock reduced to one fee for all adults. School age care and camp increases, including Hollywood Rec Center, Therapeutic Recreation, and Mardi Gras. Sports program increases, gymnastic, tours, wellness, basketball. And additional fee increases, we have Chancellor's Activity Center, Wicomico Shores Riverview Restaurant, and then, as I indicated, mostly in the maintenance arena. And with that, if there are any questions, we'll entertain them. If no questions, staff, request the commissioners to consider approving the fees and charges included in the public hearing.
I move to approve the fees and charges included in the public hearing.
Second.
The first and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Ostro, you still out there?
Yep, I'm here. I'm a yes.
All right.
Thank you.
No nays, so that one's done.
Moving to the revenue ordinance, that begins on page 1. The first few pages lay out the rules and the parameters for the various revenues. So turning to page 5, we're going to walk through where we have changes and where we don't. The fire tax rates, we have no changes. If you are interested, the number of properties affected by the current rates, which are, again, remaining unchanged, are listed on page 52. The rescue tax rates, Leonardtown and Hollywood are the two changes, increasing to 0.03 for both of them. Again, these were presented during the April 22nd public hearing. We did receive one comment on Leonardtown and no comments for Hollywood. But at their own respective public hearings, Leonardtown received 16 public comments, all in favor, and Hollywood received 8, all in favor. The support services tax rates, we have no changes.
I move to approve the increase for the Leonardtown Volunteer Fire Department, Rescue Squad, tax rate to .030.
Commissioner, I think they said they didn't need those.
Yeah, we can take them all at once with the ordinance.
Okay, well, it's sitting here in front of me, so
I'm sorry.
I didn't want to miss it if I didn't.
I appreciate that. Levy of property tax, we have no changes in the property tax rate as proposed by the commissioners. The service charge for the semi-annual, this is based on an increase based on a formula from SSTAT, decreasing from 1.45 to 1.40%.
Okay.
The income tax rate remains unchanged as per our conversations. Levy of the energy and fuel tax, you will recall the commissioners decided to bring that energy tax to 0 from 0.3125%. So that was a negative effect on revenue of $325,000. The special tax rate, no change. Environmental and solid waste service fee, again, that increase from $102.48 is a 2% annual increase that is formulaic. And no changes for the excise tax. And with that, if the commissioners have any questions, staff will entertain, or if not, we request the commissioners consider approving the revenue ordinance as presented.
Does your motion stand, Commissioner Hewitt?
Well, I was talking about rescue squads. So this is going to be the appropriations ordinance,
No,
right?
the revenue ordinance.
Revenue.
Number 2 on your screen, I apologize, the memo did not get updated, or number,
I get it.
okay.
I'll move to approve and execute the revenue ordinance for FY 2026, which sets the tax rates.
Second.
First and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
That one's done.
Right. Number 3 and number 4, the appropriation ordinance and the budget we're going to take together because they are just tied together. The appropriation ordinance begins on page 9. Appropriations for county departments total $77 million, and those included the appointed employees as indicated in the motion. Elected officials, state agencies and boards and other government budgeted costs are $83 million, $159 million, and $25 million respectively on page 10. The general fund reserve pay-go, emergency services, bringing the total general fund to $112. And that's going to tie to page 16, which is where we're going to go next, as well as the enterprise and special revenue funds at $28 million, and then capital improvements in the amount of $75.4 million. So moving to page 16, we'll review the budget highlights. You're all very familiar with these. We've discussed robustly, but for those who are just joining us from home, general fund, the approved budget, $348,563,112. The enterprise funds and the special revenue funds total $28.5 million. And then other operating funds independent, not included in the appropriation ordinance, is $263 million.
You ready for a motion?
Unless you want some more highlights, I have some.
Up to you.
Well, I don't want to steal your thunder if you want to point out anything else to us.
I was just going to go into a little more detail.
Okay, please.
But that is definitely at the commissioner's discretion. The revenues totaling $336.4 million is a 4% increase. Again, that was a greater increase, but then we had to reduce that down a little, adjust it for the budgeted, Maryland budgeted tax structure change. The fund balance, other revenues increasing by $3 million, principally from interest income. Just a clarification there, that is a budget-to-budget change of $3 million, not an actual-to-actual. So we've been exceeding that budget, so we're just bringing the current budget up to what we actually anticipate. Use of fund balance, even though there is a significant portion of fund balance being used, we still will be maintaining that 15% fund balance in reserve. And one last quick highlight, at the last budget session, the commissioners decided to allocate some funding for the state's attorney's office, and I wanted to provide the feedback. The state's attorney's office did choose the position that they wanted to fund with that, and that is an assistant state's attorney too.
Very good.
And with that,
Okay.
if there are questions, happy to entertain them.
I move to approve and execute the appropriation ordinance for FY 2026, which identifies appropriations and includes compensation increase for appointed employees.
First, is there a second?
Second? I thought Ostro might want to.
All right. First and a second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Next one.
Thank you, Commissioners. The budget, motion 4, if you would consider approving the budget as well.
I move to approve the FY 2026 budget as set forth in the schedules and documents included in the submission and execute the approved budget signature page evidencing our approval of the itemized budget.
Second.
First and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Motion passes. Motion 5.
I move to approve and authorize the Commissioner President to execute the annual budget certification statement for FY 2026 and submit to the Maryland State Department of Education.
The motion, is there a second?
Second.
All right. First and a second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Hearing none, move on. Motion 6.
I move to confirm the executed FY 2026 non-recurring cost requests form submitted to the Maryland State Department of Education.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion 6 is done.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. All right, close that book. All right, next up, Department of Land Use and Growth Management, request for public hearing, Zone 24-0413-Pax River Village Center. Courtney Jenkins presenting.
Good morning again, Commissioners.
Morning.
Okay. So this application is for the subject property for case zone 24-0413, which consists of 4 separate parcels of land in the Pax River Village Center. All 4 parcels are located in the Lexington Park Development District, and some have portions in the AQs. To match the Planning Commission staff report and for consistency purposes, I will refer to the properties as the shopping center property and the ortho property. So they are seeking approval to amend the land use designation of the property as shown in the comprehensive plan from limited commercial/industrial and mixed use medium intensity to mixed use high intensity, and to amend the zoning district of the property from the limited commercial industrial district LCI zone and medium intensity mixed use MXM zone to high intensity mixed use MXH zone. Again, both of these requests are for the portions of the properties that lie outside of the AQs. Next slide, please. So state law allows local jurisdictions to approve a change in zoning in one of 2 situations. 1, if there's been a substantial change in the character of the neighborhood, or 2, when the local legislative body has made a quote-unquote mistake when it rezoned the property to its current zoning designation. So the shopping center and ortho properties are located in the Pax River Village Center in Great Mills. The shopping center property is outlined here in teal, and the ortho property is outlined in orange, and the AQs is labeled in blue. Next slide, please. The applicant has identified the neighborhood as properties adjacent and in close proximity to 3 Notch Road, MD 235, between Peg Road and Tulagi Place, as well as properties adjacent and in close proximity to Great Mills Road from its intersection with 3 Notch Road and Westbury Boulevard. So again, the current land use designations are limited commercial/industrial for the shopping center property and mixed use medium intensity for the ortho property. And then the current zoning designations are limited commercial industrial for the shopping center property and medium intensity mixed use for the ortho property. So the current land use for the shopping center property, the purpose of it per page -2-22 in the Lexington Park Development District Master Plan. The purpose is for low occupancy commercial and industrial uses appropriate for location within the Lexington Park Development District. And then its corresponding zoning per CZO section 31.16 is limited commercial industrial zoning district. Additionally, LCI zone provides property owners a range of economically viable uses that are appropriate for locations within or adjacent to the AQs. And then for the ortho property, per page 2-21 and 2-22 in the Lexington Park Development District Master Plan, the purpose of this land use designation is to provide areas for large-scale and clustered commercial and residential uses adjacent to existing or planned principal transportation corridors. And then the corresponding zoning to the mixed-use medium-intensity land use is medium-intensity mixed-use MXM. So again, the request is for both properties, shopping center and ortho, to have their land use and zoning designations change for the areas of the properties that are located outside of the AQs. Per page 2-21 in the Lexington Park Development District Master Plan, the purpose of the mixed-use high-intensity land use designation is to combine the intensity of areas designated for downtown mixed use, the density of areas designated for residential high density, and the breadth of uses allowed in corridor mixed use areas. And then the corresponding zoning is the high-intensity mixed-use MXH. The regulations for this district are to create areas of urban character that form a visually attractive and functional urban environment for people to live, work, eat, shop, enjoy recreation, and congregate. Next slide, please. Thank you. So the Planning Commission conducted their public hearing on May 5th, 2025. They recommended approval 4-3, and at this time we are requesting to conduct a public hearing for this application on June 24th, 2025 at a time to be determined by the commissioners.
Well, I think it's a good project because it's going to revitalize a part of our county that needs revitalizing. And the other thing is, for as long as I've been in this county, I can remember this area as being a large parking lot, paved area. Now, this will bring green space back, will it not?
That is correct.
Yeah, so that's a good thing. The other thing is it'll bring walkability for people who live in Lexington Park to be able to walk versus having to drive. Is that true?
Yes.
All right.
So, Ms. Jenkins, the Planning Commission was a split vote on this. Was there any public comment at their hearing on this?
There were some public comments received. The majority of them were in favor of the application. The CPLO from the base attended as well, and I would expect that she would also attend this public hearing on June 24th as well. So she'll be able to answer questions
Did the
at
base
that
give
time.
any formal position on this?
So in their comments,
So I know
I
that
don't
they're, I believe I heard they're revising the AQs or taking a look at the AQs. So is this a property that could not be in the AQs right now, but in a year, all of a sudden it's in the AQs? Or is that not how?
unfortunately, I can't answer that question. I know that they are looking to conduct a study for the AQs that is expected to start within the next couple months, I believe. But again, I'll leave it to them to answer your questions at the public hearing.
But I will say it's important to note at this point that we had a joint meeting with the Navy a few weeks back. And the CO and this young lady both said they were not opposed to this project.
Correct.
So
Okay.
that was something I think needed to be pointed out, that they are not opposed to the project.
Right, they, just to be specific, I think they were talking about one particular housing project versus a zoning change, but maybe it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
So this request for the zoning change and the comp plan map amendment need to happen prior to the concept site plan being approved. Now, the concept site plan for the 91 townhomes was heard at the Planning Commission the same evening, and that was recommended for approval, but a condition for that approval is that this application for the zoning map amendment, comp plan amendment would need to be approved.
Okay.
And the only comment that we received from the base, they just said that NAS PACS does not support any rezoning within the AQs, which this application is for all of the property located outside of the AQs.
Good to know.
Well, go ahead. Did you have a?
Yeah, I had a quick question. What is the max density definition for max density? I mean, how far? So I know with the Goddard property, it was like they could go up to like 25 units per acre. What are we looking at here?
So for the way the zoning currently is, for the LCI portion, residential is not permitted. And then for the MXM portion, it's up to 5 units per acre, and then up to 25 with the purchase of TDRs. What they're requesting is to be changed to MXH, which that is 7 units per acre and up to 30 with the purchase of TDRs. So they are proposing 91 townhomes, and they will need 25 TDRs for that. And that project is to be located on approximately 9.5 acres.
Go ahead.
All right, I move to approve and authorize the Department of Land Use and Growth Management to schedule and conduct a public hearing on June 24th, 2025, in the morning at a time to be determined regarding ZONE 24-0413, filed on behalf of the owners of property located at 21822 and 21899 FDR Boulevard, 0 and 21703 Great Mills Road, and 21847 Three Notch Road in Great Mills, Maryland, and the proposed ordinance to amend, 1, the 2010 Comprehensive Plan use map to change its portion of the land use designations of the property from limited commercial industrial and mixed-use medium intensity to mixed-use high intensity. And 2, the zoning map to change a portion of the property's zoning districts from limited commercial industrial, LCI, and medium intensity mixed use, MXM, to high intensity mixed use, MXH.
Second.
All right, have a first and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing
I'm going to
none.
abstain from voting on this.
All right, so June 24th is when the public hearing, we'll hear from the public.
Okay, yep.
Correct.
In the AM, do we need to set the time, or do you set the time?
They'll set the time.
All right.
Whatever fits in.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, next up, Department of Emergency Services, 2024 additional LoSAP appeal. Catherine Pratson, coming to the podium.
Thank you. Yes. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I am presenting on behalf of Director Utz and the Department of Emergency Services. And you may recall that on May 5th, the Commissioners approved several appeals to the 2024 certified LoSAP lists. And following that presentation, one additional appeal was received. The appeal has been approved by the volunteer company and by the LoSAP Executive Committee. And in accordance with the county code, the Commissioners must make the final determination for the appeal. With approval of the appeal, the volunteer member will be able to participate in the response reward program.
Very good. I move to approve the one additional fire and EMS volunteer, adding them to the 2024 certified LoSAP list.
Second discussion. Why do we have these people falling through the cracks? I mean, we've put this out there. They know they have to be there. I thought we had it last time when we had 19. Are we going to have another one next week or 2 weeks from now? Or when's the cutoff date?
So according to the code, the volunteer companies had to post the certified lists for 30 days, and then individual members had 30 days following that to appeal.
Okay.
And the last day for that was May 6th. So
Okay,
this would be the
done
final.
within that time frame.
Mhm. This would
Right.
be the final.
Well, why wouldn't we have heard it last week?
I think that it had to go to the executive committee and the volunteer organization as well.
Okay.
So,
Well, I mean, I'm not opposed to this person because obviously they have the points. But I just like to know that the process works smoothly.
There's more financial incentive this year to
Yeah, I think they were,
make sure they're on that list.
yeah.
and I think that with that, and correct me if I'm wrong, where part of the ordinance that was passed with this new program is to organize how this data is collected and be more consistent. So the goal is that this will happen less and less frequently, if at all, in the future.
Okay, good.
All right. Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Delay. All right. Motion passes. All right. County Administrator.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pratson. All right, David Yangling, Deputy County Administrator, filling in for Mr. Weiskopf. We're going to start off, as always, with the draft agendas. There will be no meeting on May 27th. Our next meeting will be on June 3rd, where we will start out at 9 o'clock with invocation and pledge, following proclamations for LGBTQIA Month, National Homeownership Month, and retirement of James Emery. There will be a public hearing for road transfers with the state and Department of Natural Resources, St. Mary's County Board of Health, and then starting with county administrator time, commissioners time, and closed session for boards and committees. Our next meeting following that will be Tuesday, June 10th, 2025, with invocation and pledge by Commissioner Ostro, and then a proclamation for World Elder Abuse Awareness Day, proclamation for National Certified Nursing Assistant Week, county administrator time, commissioner time, adjourn, and then we will have the Northern Senior Center 20th Anniversary Celebration at 1 p.m. That will be a good day. And starting off for County Administrator's time, we have the Sheriff's Office FY26 Sex Offender Compliance and Enforcement and the Maryland Grant Application, GOCCP. We have Captain Sarah Smith and Lottie Bell coming up to the dais.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Captain Smith with the Sheriff's Office. I've recently assumed the role of Administrative Captain in the place of Sean Moses. He's moved on to a different division, so I look forward to working with you guys.
Welcome.
Yes, welcome.
So today we're here to request approval for the 26 Sex Offender Compliance and Enforcement Grant. This is a reoccurring grant, this year expected in the amount of $12,772 with no county match required. What we use that for is it pays just over 20% of the salary of the administrative support for our sex offender registry unit.
How many sex offenders we have in St. Mary's County registered?
Currently 127.
Is that up or down from previous years?
I think we're kind of right around the same. We have some that move out of the area as we add more to the registry.
We get some to move in, some to move out?
And there's 3 tiers. Some register depending on their offense for 15 years, 25 years, or lifetime, depending on their offense that they're convicted of.
Okay. Now, how do we know when they move here? Obviously, they're probably required to register, but what happens
Absolutely.
if they don't?
So we have a sex offender compliance detective who runs that. If we get any information of a sex offender in our area, either because they've checked out of where they were living previously or someone
Okay.
gives us information that they're here, they would be in non-compliance and a criminal investigation would be started.
All right, I'm sorry to keep pulling the string, but they checked out of their last place. I mean, how would we know if someone left? They have to check in every so often?
That's correct. It depends on, so if you move to a new area, you're required within a time frame. Usually it's within a day or two of moving to a new area to check in with the sex offender unit in that area. They're given that direction through Maryland Department of Parole and Probation, so they know the exact expectations. And if they're not in compliance, they are criminally charged with that.
Okay, so these people are monitored throughout?
Yes, sir.
Good. All right, well then, thank you, and welcome.
Thanks.
All right, I move to approve the FY 2026 Sex Offender Compliance and Enforcement in Maryland Grant Application from the Governor's Office of Crime Prevention and Policy on behalf of the St. Mary's County Sheriff's Office in the amount of $12,772 and authorize the Commissioner, President, and Sheriff to execute the related documents and staff to submit electronically.
Second.
The first and the second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. And next up on the agenda is the County Administrator, Catherine Pratson, our Director of Human Resources, is going to come up and help me through this since I am on the wrong side of the dais. Essentially, what this reorganization is the County Administrator had a new position in the budget for the FY26 budget. Because of the difficulties of that budget, we had to not recommend our own budget submission. And so we had a retirement within our office, a very valued member of our team. However, that left us an opportunity to take that position and fill the need that we had previously budgeted for. That was the video media manager. As commissioners are aware, we have one person who is responsible for all of the meetings that we do in this room, all of the services that we do. When we first hired that very talented employee, I think they supported this board and ran a few things on Channel 95, and now we, around the clock, are running YouTube, and the desire for transparency in government has never been higher. So that single point of failure causes the county administrator, myself, some consternation that if Amy decided to take a vacation or get sick, that we would fail in one of our meetings. So we put our heads together with Ms. Guzman. We worked with our staff and identified ways to absorb some of the heavy lift that Ms. Nalsinger did for us and retask some of those items around our office. And fill that need that we have. I think we have a valuable plan that will be either cost neutral or it will be up to a $17,000 change. It would convert one RPT, 30-hour employee, to full-time. And it's a merit position that anyone can apply for, but we think we'll have some strong candidates internally as well as externally with what's going on at the federal government. And we hope to be able to fill that at worst at a modest increase to the budget, at best nearly cost neutral.
So it is cost neutral or a modest increase to the budget? Which is it?
It will depend on how that position is filled. So it's a merit position, and so what we are seeing is a lot of very talented people from outside of county government applying for jobs who will have the same opportunity to apply for that job. So it could cost as much as $17,000 and change. There are internal candidates who I expect would have some interest in that because of the savings due to their tenure. As you convert a position back, there's an opportunity for it to be cost neutral, but that is dependent on who is selected in that position. So I'm giving you the worst case.
No, I get it. But tell me, we had a retirement of a person who had been with us a long time.
Yes.
So I assume that salary builds up.
It does.
So this position comes in at a lower salary, or does it come in because of the way the position, is it a higher salary or?
Lower.
So it's going to be a lower salary.
Just
Now, why would we pay more if we anticipate having a lower?
The change would be converting the administrative, the RPT position to an FTE.
Okay, the 30-hour to 40.
Right.
Yes.
That's
So
the
it's in those 10
expense.
hours.
Right. And it's likely there'll be savings with the video production manager.
Okay. Well, it's too bad we couldn't find some money somewhere else we could have taken out to get you your position that we did last week.
And this would be FY '26. This would be July 1.
You're right.
All right, I move to approve the proposed reorganization as presented.
Second.
The first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. We get to reorganize.
Thank you, Commissioners. And the final thing I want to say is I want to thank all of the staff who worked behind the scenes on the budget. I know we gave our CFO an easy first-time budget in her first year in office, but it really was an example of great partnerships with our elected officials, with Dr. Smith, with Sheriff Hall, with State's Attorney Sterling, and yourselves. You guys put us through our paces, and I think we came to the best product we could come to, so thank you all for your help. And with that, I'll turn it over to Commissioner Alderson.
All right. So we're going to go head into Commissioner's time now, and we'll start off with Commissioner Hewitt.
Oh, goodness. Thank you. Well, no meeting next week, Memorial Day. Lord knows it's the start of summer, and it certainly feels like summer. Now, the past few days have been wonderful, but boy, it got hot last week. We're in the 90s already. Let's just do the best we can with our people who may be not using air conditioning yet, and keep an eye on our neighbors and our family members who may need extra help. Well, we passed a budget today. I voted against one portion of it, mainly because I thought that the budget was, it wasn't haphazard, but it was kind of at the last moment things were coming out, and not all commissioners were knew about what was going on. And nobody likes surprises, on the last day. So, look, you win some, you lose some. At the end of the day, you move on. And let's just hope this budget meets the needs of the people we're trying to meet their needs, and that we can afford to provide the services we need to provide. Last week, at the start of the budget session, budget work session, I made a motion that was approved by a majority of the commissioners to terminate a agreement we had with a lobbyist we had had. And someone that mentioned to me that it sounded very confusing to them. They didn't know what I was talking about. Well, at the time, we hadn't informed the person that we were going to terminate that agreement, and we have now. So I have to say that I'm glad that we have parted ways with our previous lobbyist in Annapolis. I believe there was a conflict of interest that we didn't know about, and we had things blow up in our face, and Lord knows you do not want somebody who you've hired to allow things to blow up in your face. We released our lobbyist, Mr. Bariano. Lastly, I read today in the Maryland Matters newspaper that the state is actually taking reservations on state parks. They've started a couple of them, one Greenbrier, which doesn't affect us, Western Maryland. Sandy Point up there by the Bay Bridge doesn't affect us. But later this year, they'll be taking reservations for Point Lookout and Newtown Neck. So if you use those parks, and we've been used to being able to drive down there and maybe pay the fee, whatever it is, to get in and enjoy it, you'll now need a reservation. So if that's part of your summer plans, that you want to go visit our state parks, look at the DNR website and make sure that when you get there, you can get in. Look, nobody wants to be surprised. Thank you. Here.
All right, thank you very much. So I want to touch on a couple different things briefly. First off, we passed a budget today, and that's a good thing. It's a balanced budget as required by law and common sense, and it's a good budget that hopefully meets the needs of all of our partners in the community. It's disappointing that we couldn't get a unanimous vote on the budget. I know that Commissioner President Guy wasn't able to be here today, and he had hoped to be able to vote for the budget. But I think one of the most notable things is we kept our tax rates flat, and we lowered our energy tax to 0. And that's good. And we were still able to meet community needs on it. Now, it was touched on just a minute ago by Commissioner Hewitt that last week a motion was passed by this board to terminate our lobbyist, and I was the lone vote against that. That was a disappointing move. I think it was a short-sighted move, and I don't think it was fair to our lobbyist that we didn't even give him a chance to defend himself. But he did a lot of good for us, and so it's a shame to see Mr. Bariano go. Yesterday, I was at a Southern Maryland Navy Alliance lunch that they held for our congressional representatives. So Senators Van Hollen was down. Senator Also Brooks was in a tour that morning on the base, but she wasn't able to be there for the presentation. But Congressman Hoyer, Congresswoman Elfreth were there. And Navy Alliance President Dale Moore gave a great overview and presentation. I want to give a shout out to Kelly Hinkle from Economic Development. She did a great talk too. And Dr. Wilson from CSM, several other speakers, they all did a great job. But what was interesting is Dale Moore, as the president of the Navy Alliance, is now also the president of that new commission that the state created just a year or so ago that looks at aviation across the state, including space and autonomous aviation. But it's this commission that was created by the state, and it was originally intended to exclude St. Mary's County and only hold or cover a couple counties in the central part of the state. Our lobbyist worked and got us a seat on that to represent St. Mary's County and the work being done here. And now the Navy Alliance president from St. Mary's County is chairing that commission. So that's a huge win for the county to even be represented here so that we get recognition throughout the state and hopefully resources from the state as that moves forward. But it was a great presentation yesterday, just hearing about some of the growth and some of the work, the great work that's being done by our county residents that work on the bases here. And off the base too, supporting just DOD and our country as a whole. Next week, Memorial Day ceremony. If you haven't been down to Ridge for the American Legion Post 255's Memorial Day ceremony, you should definitely put that on your calendar. If you're off work, come on down there. Get there in time for the bikes to roll in. It's a great ceremony. They do a really good job, and it's very moving and touching. It's a nice ceremony. And next week, we also have our high school graduation. So I just want to wish congratulations to all of our graduating seniors. Congratulations to the parents and families. It's a lot of work to get to this point, and I'm looking forward to the graduations next week. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Scott, are you available?
I am. So I just wanted to also echo Commissioner Hewitt's statements on the budget. I did vote yes for this budget, but I did state this last week, I thought which I don't like doing. I think we do this too often. Is we to coin the phrase, we rob Peter to pay Paul, and we play too much of a shell game, in my opinion, with funds from different pots of money. And I don't think that is a good way to budget. At the end of the day, we do have a passed budget, and I'm glad that this has been a very tough budget, and I'm glad that we have put this one behind us and we were able to get this budget passed and done. So looking forward, that being said, looking forward to being back in town and seeing everybody, and I'll be back in time to attend the graduation ceremonies and Memorial Day ceremonies. So looking forward to all of those. Hope everybody has a safe rest of the week, and see y'all soon.
All right, thank you very much. So this past weekend, I was able to go to the 7th District Volunteer Rescue Squad's open house that they had and put on by the ladies auxiliary, by the auxiliary over there. Not quite. They do have a couple male members, and it was lightly attended. It's Saturday, I get it, but I did have an attentive audience when I gave the proclamation and spoke about LoSAP Plus, and they're looking forward to it. The one thing that was brought up to me was that there needs to be, need to look at the formula for volunteer rescue squad members. And that's something we can get into. That after the budget is finally put down a little bit, we can sit down and really break down the numbers on that to make it work for the rescue squad members as we get around to it. Also, a lot of you may know that there was a mass casualty incident in California late last week. And the result was 4 members from Bay District Volunteer Fire Department was airlifted out, along with 2 of our DES members. And I called the chief from Bay District while he was up at the hospital with his firefighters. That's how they were doing, and they were doing well, and they were going to be released within a couple hours of the phone call that I was making to him. Had several deputies that were also treated and released, and there were 20 people triaged. Unfortunately, there was one deceased patient after 30 minutes of CPR was attempted on the person. So he did the EMS proclamation this morning, and what Director Utt said, people really, sometimes you really don't think what you're going to run into. You don't know what you're going to run into when you walk into a building. You got regular sick call, difficulty breathing. They show up, and it ends up being a carbon monoxide incident. It turns into a mass casualty incident. So kudos to all those people. My thoughts and prayers with the family of the deceased, and I hope that all of all the affected people do have a full recovery. And if you get to see any members of any of our first responders, just give them a thank you. They appreciate it. They don't do it for money on the volunteer side. They just do it because they love their communities and they want to give back. So this will be my pitch for volunteerism. If you want to get out there and join them, they have applications ready by the door. I was told that mine was waiting for me, just waiting on my signature. So I was able to go up to Annapolis to see some friends that came up from North Carolina this weekend, and had a great time. Lots going on in Annapolis. They had the NCAA semifinals for lacrosse. We were staying in the same hotel as the Penn State lacrosse team, and I think Georgetown was in there also. And it's a nice little day trip. It gets a little spendy when you start hitting some of the restaurants, but if you get a chance, go up there, park your car at a hotel, get an Uber. Parking is madhouse up there. But do love going up there, walking the cobblestone streets and just feeling the history and getting an appreciation of the history up there. And plus, the fact it was a beautiful weekend did not hurt. After that, we headed over to see my uncle that I spoke about at Inova Mount Vernon, recovering from a stroke. He's doing well. He should be home within the next 10 days. Very excited about that. I know his grandkids are very excited about that, so they can just jump on the golf cart and ride over to go see Papa. So that'll be good. And Commissioner Hewitt brought up something about the Maryland Matters website. Now, if you if you want to find out what's going on in the state, Maryland Matters is a really good website that does focuses everything in Annapolis. You get to find out a lot about the stuff that you hear about, and like, why didn't you know about it? And it's like, because it's state stuff. But you can find out the inner workings and get a good appreciation of some of the conflict that goes on during the sessions up there. So if you get really curious on a rainy day or whatever, just hop on Maryland Matters website. Scroll through it, look through some of the writing, some of the op-eds in there. Now remember, we are Democrat majority state, so some of the op-eds lean pretty hard to the left sometimes, and they don't make a lot of sense. But there are some people who do write in there who do make some sense. And with that, I just want to say everybody have a safe Memorial Day weekend. We'll be down at Ridge Post 255 for their ceremony down there. I'm looking forward to it, and like I said, have a good weekend. Thank you. That's all I have. All right. All good? All right. All good. We're adjourned.